in the heart of a sprawling city, where skyscrapers loomed like silent sentinels and the streets thrummed with ceaseless activity, lived Jack. Jack was an accountant, working in one of the largest corporations in the city. His days were a blur of numbers, spreadsheets, and endless meetings. From dawn till dusk, he toiled away in his tiny cubicle, surrounded by the drone of office chatter and the constant hum of computer monitors. Despite his outward success, Jack felt a gnawing emptiness inside. His life had become a monotonous routine: wake up, commute, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. The vibrant city outside his office window felt distant, almost unreachable. He felt lonely and exhausted, trapped in a cycle that left him feeling hollow and unfulfilled. One evening, after another grueling day at work, Jack was scrolling through his phone, mindlessly browsing through social media, when he stumbled upon an article about a silent retreat. Intrigued by the idea of escaping the constant noise and chaos of his life, he impulsively signed up for a weekend retreat in the countryside. That Friday, Jack left the city behind and headed to the retreat center, nestled in a serene valley surrounded by rolling hills. The silence of the place was almost deafening at first, a stark contrast to the incessant noise of the city. Participants were instructed to hand over their electronic devices and remain silent for the entire weekend. At first, Jack felt restless. The absence of his phone, the lack of conversations, and the stillness around him were unsettling. But as the hours passed, he began to feel a strange sense of peace. The quiet allowed his mind to wander, to reflect on his life in a way he hadn't done in years. On the second day, Jack found himself sitting by a tranquil lake, watching the gentle ripples on the water's surface. The emptiness around him felt liberating, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He realized how much he had been filling his life with noise and activity, trying to distract himself from the loneliness and dissatisfaction he felt. As he sat there, he remembered a piece of advice his grandmother had given him years ago. Sometimes, you need to empty your cup to fill it with something new. He hadn't understood it then, but now, in the midst of this profound emptiness, the meaning became clear. He had been so consumed by his busy schedule and the demands of his corporate life that he had forgotten to leave space for himself, for his own thoughts and dreams. By the end of the retreat, Jack felt rejuvenated. The emptiness he had feared was not something to be avoided, it was a canvas for new possibilities. It was a space where he could rediscover himself, his passions, and his purpose. Returning to the city, Jack decided to make some changes. He started by setting boundaries at work, ensuring he had time for himself each day. He began practicing mindfulness, taking moments throughout the day to breathe and reflect. He also picked up old hobbies he had abandoned, like painting and reading, which brought him joy and fulfillment. Jack's colleagues noticed the change. He was more focused, more creative, and seemed genuinely happier. The emptiness he had once feared became his source of strength and inspiration. He learned to embrace the quiet moments, understanding that they were essential for his well-being and personal growth. In the bustling world of corporate demands and constant activity, Jack's story became an inspiration. It taught people that the power of emptiness lies not in what is missing, but in the potential it holds. By creating space in our lives, we open ourselves up to new experiences, new insights, and a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. Jack's journey from a monotonous routine to a life filled with purpose and joy showed that sometimes the greatest discoveries are made in the emptiest places. And so, the power of emptiness transformed not only his life but also the lives of those around him, reminding everyone that in the silence we can find our true selves.